Hi there, this is Jennifer with Brome Fields, and today we're working on the Crisp Sunlight headband knitting pattern, and I'm just going to show you how I cast on and go through the cable stitch. And I'm using my size 11. I have DPNs here. They're easy to use for a headband, and then I have my cable needle, and I cast on using the long tail cast on method. So there's my first stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I have my 12 cast on stitches. And our first row is a setup row. So we're just going to do it one time, and that's it. And that's because if we leave our yarn in the back, it's going to create a bump on the front of our work, and we don't want to do that. So we're going to bring our yarn in the front. We're going to slip this first stitch purlwise, and then we're going to bring it back into the back to knit the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to purl 6. So these first 3 stitches are our edge stitches, and these next 6 stitches are our center stitches for our cables, because we're going to do 2 cables side by side. And then these last 3 stitches are the other side of our edge, so kind of a border. We're going to knit these 2 stitches, and then with our yarn in front we're going to slip this one purlwise. So we're going to create this elongated stitch on the edge that gives us our nice pretty edge. So that was row 1, which is our setup row. So now we're going to go to row 2. So this is the first row of our repeat. So we're going to knit 1 through the back loop. That's the first stitch of every row. We're going to knit 1 through the back loop, and then we're going to knit 1, purl 1, and then we're going to knit 2 stitches, and then we're going to, with the yarn in the back, slip these next 2 stitches, because these are 2 we're elongating to create our cable, and then we're going to knit the next 2 stitches. And then we're going to purl 1 and knit 1, and then we're going to bring our yarn into the front and slip 1 purlwise. So we're elongating this last stitch on the wrong side row. Okay, so I also wanted to show you the front side, our right side row. So whenever you have the cast on, that creates a nice pretty stitch when row 2 is your right side of your work, and this is your wrong side. So it has this purl stitch, so I want all the purl stitches on the same side. So row 1 is usually, whenever I knit flat, is usually like a setup row because it's a little different, because I want to make sure that row 2 is my right side. So now we're on the wrong side again, so we're on row 3. So we're going to still knit 1 through the back loop on this first stitch, and then we're going to knit 2 and purl 2, and with our yarn in the front of our work, so this is the front, we're going to slip these 2 stitches again. So we're creating these 2 bars, and they're in the back of our work, so they can't be seen. So we're going to purl those 2 stitches, and then we're going to knit the next 2 stitches, and then with our yarn in front we're going to slip 1 purlwise. So elongating that last stitch. Now we're ready for row 4, so this is our cable row. So we're going to knit 1 through the back loop for our pretty edge, and then we're going to knit 1, purl 1. So what we're doing here on this edge stitch, these 2 edge stitches here, So this creates our nice pretty edge, and we're creating kind of this gutter stitch is what I call it. So they're all purl stitches. And this one here, I'm alternating between purl and knit stitches, and it gives it just a little bit more squish. So now we're ready for our cable. So we're going to cable 3 back. So we're going to hold our right hand needle in the front, slip 2 stitches off to hold into the back of our work. And then we're going to knit this 1 stitch. So we have elongated it for 2 rows. So that's going to be our right leaning stitch. So we're going to knit 2 off of our cable needle. And then, so that creates our right lean. We're going to take 1 stitch and hold it into the front of our work. Knit 2 off of our working needle. And this is the other elongated stitch. And we're going to knit that off of the cable needle so that we have that left leaning cable. And then we're going to purl 1, knit 1. And then with our yarn in the front, we're going to slip 1 purlwise. So that gives us our cables. So we have this knit purl, we have the gutter that's all purls, and then we have all knit stitches in the middle except these extended stitches, which we slipped. All purl stitches, alternating purl, knit, and then our edges that we slip. So now we're ready for row 5, which is the last row in our repeat. As with all the other rows, we knit 1 through the back loop on the first stitch, and then we're going to knit 2, purl 6, and then knit 2, and with yarn in front, slip 1 purlwise. So that wraps up our 4-row repeat, and that is the beginnings of the headband. So it's actually pretty easy. I hope that seeing it, for me, if I watch this before I ever get started, it just all makes so much more sense and it's easier to do. And once you get the hang of it, with the cables, you don't have to use the cable needle, but I used it as a crutch for the longest time. I think the last few rows I tried it without using the cable needle. The back ones I had a harder time with, but the front one was really easy to do without the cable needle. So that's a little extra challenge for you guys if you want to try to challenge yourself to not use the cable needle. Maybe it'll stretch your little, I don't know, nerves. But all else fails, you can just start the row over again. It's not too bad. So I hope that helps you guys out. And if you guys have any questions, please shoot me an email. And thank you guys so much for watching.